Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. I can't believe 2026 already, and it is shaping up to be an amazing year. I hope your holiday season was wonderful. Mine certainly was, and I am so glad that you have all joined me today. We are kicking off our year as we have for the past 5 years with our friends from AARP Rhode Island to really set the tone for 2026. It's going to be a great year. Now, as you all know, you've been watching for a while now, I am Deb Burton, Executive Director of RI Elder Info, the nonprofit that brings you and the people you know information that is relevant to helping you remain independent as you age or support someone who is. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are eternally grateful to our sponsor, United Healthcare, as well as our Friday Friends sponsor, McCarthy Law. Here's a message from McCarthy Law.
Here at McCarthy Law, we practice in the areas of estate planning, long-term care planning, elder care law, and residential real estate. Our focus is really on providing peace of mind to our clients.
If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with our office, you can feel free to reach out to us at 401-541-5540. You can also reach out via website at www.mccarthylawri.com. You also should check out our social media, both on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for some helpful tips and tricks.
Hey, Matt, how are you today?
I'm great, Deb. How are you?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It was exciting. Ready to go for 2026.
Yeah. So please tell everybody what is on the agenda for AARP of Rhode Island this year.
Oh, we have a packed agenda we are planning. Well, it's an election year, so we're always, ready to get the information out on how, when, and where to vote. We'll be having all our websites up and updating that because it's, election years are important. Older adults vote in mass. We are the majority of people that vote. I think in the last election it was around 69 to 70% of people that voted were 50 and older. So, this is a year to really put the issues that impact older adults right in the forefront and try to get some great things done. So, we're excited. The first thing and number one priority for the past few years has been working to eliminate the state income tax on Social Security. So it's a big one. It has a big price tag. However, 42 other states have figured out how to balance their budget without taking money out of the pockets of older adults that earn that money and paid into that system. So if 42 other states can do it, I'm sure we can find a way to do it.
Okay, so why are we one of the 8 that aren't doing it? What are the challenges that we need to overcome to make this happen?
It's fine. It's having the money to eliminate it. We've had the hearings in the finance committees. We've talked to leadership, and no one says they don't want to do it. They just say, how are we going to pay for it? The estimates from a fiscal note from 2 years ago had it around in the 40 million range. It would cost to do this. However, that's less money than it was when we eliminated the car tax. So in relation to other things we've done, we've eliminated big taxes before, and it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. These people worked hard. They paid into the system. It's been double taxed now, and older adults are trying to age in place, and they're trying to keep up with the rising costs of everything, just like everybody else. The difference is many of them can't go back to work and get extra income. What they have is what they have, and that extra money at the end of the month is getting tighter and tighter. So eliminating that tax on Social Security is really going to be a big help for a lot of people. We estimate, I think it's around 36,000 people in Rhode Island still have their Social Security taxed. If you do make over a certain percentage, it doesn't get it gets taxed. Under a certain percentage, it doesn't get taxed. However, in Rhode Island, and this is one of the main points we talk about, because everyone wants to say, well, we already raised the income limit, so only high earners get their Social Security tax. That's not true. The number one provision in the exemption is that you must be 67 years old or reach full retirement age. If you haven't met full retirement age, your Social Security gets taxed no matter what your income is. So you have people that need it at 62, paid into it, they need it now. And even if they're making $30,000 a year, $80,000 a year, it doesn't matter. That's getting taxed. It's a part of it a lot of people don't talk about. So it is a tax that impacts everybody in our state.
You bring up a really good point. A lot of times they've referred to Social Security as part of the three-legged stool, where one part is pensions, another part is savings, and then the third leg is Social Security. But the reality is, many corporations did away with pensions back in the 80s, and with folks really living paycheck to paycheck, saving for our added longevity, particularly knowing we're probably going to face some health challenges, like savings is just not kept up. So I can definitely see the importance of eliminating the taxes on this, particularly when, we have an increase in individuals who are younger, developing dementia. Like, every penny counts as we get older, and Social Security cost of living has not caught up or kept pace with the cost of the grocery store.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's you'd have to go pretty high to keep up with that pace. And everything else, property taxes, the utilities. I mean, you look at what it costs gas, electric now. It's even compared to what it was 6-7 years ago. It's a different ballgame now. And it's also, there's this conception that older adults who are retired, well, their house is paid off. That might have been the deal in 1970, 1980, but that's not happening today. Many adults have retired. They're still paying their mortgage off. They still have bills. So it's, it's something that we're really passionate about. Our members, we have over 125,000 members here in the state. And when we put out any type of questionnaires, when we're at events, that's what people come up and talk to us about. Why are they still taxing this? So we're going to make another push and hopefully get it done this year.
Yeah, no, I think that's super important. Can people reach out to you if they need information about how to support this legislation, or do they contact their representatives? What's the best course of action?
So, really the best thing to do, there's a couple of things. I would say the best thing is get to know your state rep, get to know your state senator, call them, talk to them, set a meeting with them, build a relationship, let them know how this tax impacts you. Let them know that it's just not fair. It's just not right. Why can 42 other states do this and we can't? Other thing they can do is we started a petition right towards the end of last session that's still running. You can go there on AARP.org/ENDSS tax RI. So AARP.org and SS tax RI. And you can sign the petition there. Or you can get involved. We have volunteers. AARP, our lifeblood is our volunteers. And I have an amazing group of advocacy volunteers that meet weekly on Zoom. And we cover issues that are current and work on legislation. And, we have a sub-team dedicated to this bill alone. And you can join them by contacting me, AARP.org/RI if you want to go online and find the contact, or my office number is 401-248-2660. Yep. So.
Okay. And so with some of the programs at the federal level are changing, and they're going to require volunteer hours or 20 hours of work per week. Some of those changes. Can people volunteer for AARP to meet those needs? Is that an option to volunteer with you guys?
I haven't heard that they can't. It's not something I've looked into yet, but I don't see why not. We have about 50 to 75 dedicated volunteers that are pretty heavily involved, working events in the community, tabling events. We do shred events throughout the year. They're at the State House with me every other week. It's a fun group. And if that's something that you're looking into, contact our office for sure, because if you want to have some fun, we have a lot of volunteers that have a lot of fun. They do a lot of great work too. There's some work, but they are a dynamic, amazing group of older adults, and they're a lot of fun to be around.
See, fun volunteering, like,
yeah.
What could be better? Now, Matt, you mentioned something about, folks having mortgages. I know when 2008, 2009, interest rates dipped really low. People refinanced for 30-year mortgages to keep their monthly payments low. But, I took some time over the holidays and I watched some TV. It wasn't always, the best TV. And I saw a lot about home theft, where people are filing paperwork at City Hall to steal your house. Is that a real thing?
100% a real thing. It is something that came on my radar about last February. I got a call from my national office who was working with the realtors and the American Land Title Association on something called deed fraud. I hadn't heard much about it. And then just so happens on April 1st of 2025, FBI Boston puts out a press release highlighting the uptick in deed fraud in New England. And what caught my attention is the FBI reported between 2019 and 2023, there were 224 victims of deed fraud in Rhode Island, and the losses totaled over $4.8 million. So, and that's straight from the FBI, the stats. It's alarming. So at that point, we did some research, started looking into what is deed fraud. And for those of you that haven't heard about it before, deed fraud is when someone illegally takes ownership of a home or property by forging documents or tricking someone into signing paperwork they don't understand. Once a fake deed is filed with the local government, it can look like the scammer is now the real owner, and that can lead to the true owner losing access to their property or finding out that someone's trying to sell their home out from under them and having to fight it in court and prove that their house and their land is actually theirs. There's some really horror stories when it comes to this. I heard of one. A gentleman was left when he was a younger gentleman. He was left land in Connecticut by his grandfather. He lived in Georgia. Yep. So when the man was getting to his retirement age, he said, "I want to go see let me go see what my land looks like in Connecticut." And he showed up to it being fully developed.
Imagine the surprise.
Families living there, whole development already done, multiple houses.
Wow.
Yeah, it is something that happens. It happens here. It happens a lot with houses, either vacant land that people own that haven't developed yet. Happens a lot with any house that's not occupied for 12 months a year. Vacation homes, 6-month homes, stuff like that. But it also happens, at the local level in everyday single family homes, residential areas. And it's because, there's the bill that we're looking to have introduced. We're working with Rep. Brian Patrick Kennedy in the House. He introduced a bill on this last year, about midway through. So, we're trying to get the Model Act incorporated into his bill, get it introduced this year, and try to put some protections in for homeowners, because it is a person's house is most of the time their largest and most valuable asset. And to wake up one morning and know someone stole it right out from under you, literally, is petrifying.
So if people are watching and they're worried about whether or not their house is safe, what steps can people do right now to check and make sure that this hasn't happened to them and try to prevent it from happening?
I would contact your town clerk's office immediately.
Okay.
And talk to your town clerk. Ask them if they have a property alert notification system. There are certain towns in the state that have a system. They have paid for a system. My dad lives in Lincoln. That Lincoln has it, where you sign up for the property alert notification system, so that if anyone comes into the town hall and tries to file paperwork, transfer ownership, liens, whatever on property that you own, the town notifies you immediately.
Okay.
Right now, towns aren't required, and they don't. So it's one small step that you can take to protect yourself, to know that if someone tries to do this with your property, at least you'll know you'll get notified immediately from the town or your town clerk's office. And if you call and they say they don't have it,
Yep.
say that you want it. Demand that they get it. I can tell you from talking to other towns, to get the program and start it up is probably a little bit less than 10 grand. But after that, it's about $400 a year to maintain it. And that's the total, and that's not that's the whole town's cost. So we're not talking big money here. We're talking small money, a small investment that will really protect the homeowners in their communities. So we're excited about the bill. As you know, last couple of years we worked on crypto ATM fraud, and we were, so thankful to the legislators and leadership and the governor for helping us get that done. And we see this as the next horizon, and just making sure that we're working on protecting older adults and the way that, and making sure that they can choose how they live as they age.
Yeah. As fast as we find a way to solve criminal activity, it seems like the criminals come up with a new activity. They're very creative in a bad way.
The truth about it, Deb, is it's big business. Scamming older adults is big business. And it's not, it's no longer some guy in a basement with a computer hacking away. No, that's not what's happening here. These are transnational organizations, large businesses set up overseas. Like, they have office buildings, full offices, cubicles. Wow. And they come in and they hire people to just stay on the phone all day and read that script, doing grandparent scams and investment scams and romance scams and you name it. And, they're just working those phones and, stealing money from, some, unassuming Rhode Islanders and people across the country. And it's just sad. And every time, like you said, it's like whack-a-mole. Every time we think we bat one down, something else pops up. But we're going to stay on it. That's why we got the Fraud Watch Network, and that's why AARP is dedicated to this. It's really where my passion lies, a lot of work that we do. I really like fraud prevention and making sure that people are aware of what's happening out there, and making sure that legislators are aware so we can pass these good laws and protect Rhode Islanders.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of some of the great things, tell everybody about the accessory dwelling unit work and the accessible housing that you guys have been working on.
Yeah, this has been I never thought I would have known so much about accessory dwelling units or ADUs, in-law apartments. I mean, granny flats, as they call them, a million different things. They're all the same thing. But yeah, I worked on that bill, and our volunteers worked on that bill. Our office worked on that bill, the whole office, for 3 to 4 years. It was our top priority, as well as Speaker Shikarchi's top priority before it got passed. It's a very strong bill. I believe it's one of the strongest bills in the country. And it gives older adults a housing option. Because, right now, a lot of older adults are sitting on equity. Like you said, they've got that lower interest rate years back, and they got there and they're sitting there, and they may want to downsize. They may want to, but they look around and it costs $2,000 to rent a 1-bedroom apartment. It doesn't make financial sense. It costs $400 to buy a condo. It doesn't make sense for them to leave. Financially, doesn't make any sense. So, ADUs make a lot of sense if they could downsize on their own property. And then bring in friends or family, or rent out to a new young family to come into town. And, it helps them with tasks. It helps them with money. It helps them to age in place and choose how they want to live as they age. So it was such an exciting bill to get done. And now we're heavy in implementation. We just came out with our ADU booklet. You can find it online at aarp.org/RIADU. And it goes through the changes in the law, what you can do by right, what you should really check in with your town about, some considerations on design and budgeting when planning an ADU, and then some resources from AARP and other groups like Rhode Island Housing on different ways that you can fund an ADU and get loan and financing, which is a new thing.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah, big thing. You know, we were really excited when Rhode Island Housing came to us and was like, "You're doing this booklet, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Hold off, we got something." And boy, did they have something. So yeah, shout out to Rhode Island Housing for that. They have a great program where they can help you finance your ADU now.
That is awesome. And I know that it was such an exciting thing in 2025 that the Rhode Island Builders Association, the Spring Home Show, had an accessory dwelling unit that was in the convention center so that people could really like check it out and sort of like try before you buy.
Yeah.
And this coming one in the spring is also going to have a bit of a focus on ways to make your house accessible and better for aging in place. So that one's coming up at the spring show this year. So super excited. But you guys have really been rocking out, making some amazing positive changes.
Oh, well, thank you. It's and like I said, it's mostly for me. It's my volunteers. It's our advocacy volunteers are they're so smart. I mean, literally, I have a group of 20 to 30, retired professionals that have expertise in so many different industries, and I just we get the pull from their knowledge and their experience and their perspective, and they're so powerful. They're so powerful. And anyone can join. Anyone can join them. They welcome people. It's a great group. They go to dinner and lunch and event spot on their own. And we go up to the State House every other week during the session. We talk to legislators on the floor. They're really another bill that they're really amped up. And I have to mention it before we go is the Home Fit bill, which it's about, being able to age in place and universal design and accessibility. Rhode Island has, our percentage of Rhode Islanders that have disabilities is higher than the national average. The federal standards are something like for every 100 units you build, 5 has to be accessible. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. And, so we've been doing a lot of research and working with Representative Spears and Chairman Basalian on the Home Fit bill, to find a way to make sure that, some of this housing that's being built that we've dedicated all these hundreds of millions of dollars to in the last few years is being built for people of all ages and abilities, So we're really eager to get working on that one and hope we can get that across the finish line too.
This is awesome. I love speaking with AARP at the beginning of the year. It feels so exciting and energizing. So I am glad that after the holiday and, jumping in with 2 feet. I appreciate you coming on today, Matt. This has been great.
Oh, thank you. No, it's always a pleasure to come here. And Catherine sends her regards. She usually does this, but, she's taking some well-deserved time off before the session starts. When we get back at, the session in a couple of days, here we go. And we're off and running for 6 months. And it's, I see it like I'm a big baseball guy. So I see, lobbying and advocating as every year is a new inning. So the game's never over. You just show up the next year, and January is the first at bat, and you just keep going all the way through and show up and talk to your legislators, let them know what matters most to you. And it really, really matters. It really does.
Well, I want a home run.
I'm working on a grand slam. I want all of them.
There you go.
Yeah. We're a little greedy over here. We want all older adults to be able to age as they choose now, with all the roadblocks removed. And we'll keep pushing. And I know you will too.
Absolutely. I will help you push.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thanks, Deb. Anytime. Give us a call. We're always here.
Absolutely.
Oh, and if anyone wants to, our events, AARP.org/RI. We have tons of free events, programming, all types of good stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Everybody, AARP-RI is so involved in the community. They want to hear from you. They would love to have you volunteer. And they are doing amazing work to really enable all of us to be able to age in place. Great stuff. Please reach out to Matt. You've just made a New Year's commitment to volunteer more, right? Well, there's your opportunity. It's a great organization. I encourage you, give Matt a call. There are many different ways that you can volunteer, and it's something that'll make the world a better place for all of us. So I am glad that you joined me today. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Happy New Year. In the meantime, be well and be kind.